Why did my neighbors call an emergency meeting about my 6-month-old baby? I'm standing in a community center holding my 6-month-old while 30 neighbors stare at us like we're national security threats. My next door neighbors Stan and Karen filed an emergency HOA complaint because they think my baby is transmitting coded messages through her crying. Let me back up. We moved in 3 months ago. Me, my wife, and baby Leslie. Classic new parents. Exhausted, overwhelmed, covered in spit up. My wife went back to work, so I was home on paternity leave with a colicky infant who cried constantly. The pediatrician said it was normal. Just ride it out. Easy for him to say. I went full dad mode. Downloaded every baby app, tracking feeds, diapers, naps, crying sessions, made spreadsheets trying to find patterns. Thought maybe if I collected enough data, I could crack the code and fix my broken baby. Stan and Karen live next door. Stan's retired military who watches conspiracy documentaries all day. Karen runs a true crime podcast with 12 listeners, 8 of whom are her relatives. 2 weeks in, Stan corners me at the mailbox. That's some interesting crying pattern your baby has. Yeah, colic sucks. Very rhythmic, almost like. He tapped his finger on the mailbox. Morse code. I laughed. He didn't. Next thing I know, Stan's recording Leslie through the walls. He pulled out military code charts, matching her whales to dots and dashes. Karen jumped on board, creating timestamps and translations. They started a neighborhood group chat. Suspicious baby activity. I'm not kidding. They shared recordings with captions like 2:47 a.m., possible SOS transmission, and noticed the pattern during satellite pass window. Some neighbors told them to get therapy. Others got paranoid. Margaret from 2 houses down started asking if we had foreign connections. Then came the emergency HOA meeting. Stan had a PowerPoint, an actual PowerPoint about my infant's crying. Slide 1, unusual infant communication patterns. Slide 12, correlation with International Space Station orbit. Karen presented audio recordings with her own analysis. Notice how the crying intensifies during these specific windows that match perfectly with satellite passes. The HOA president, Dorothy, looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Let him respond, she sighed. I stood up, Leslie naturally choosing that moment to start crying. The room tensed like she was about to activate sleeper cells. I pulled out my phone. This is my baby tracking app. 3 months of data. I showed them the screen. This 2:47 a.m. crying Stan says was SOS. Look at the pattern. Every single night, exactly 3 hours after her last feed. I scrolled through weeks of entries. These satellite windows Karen mentioned, that's called witching hour. Every baby has one. Mine is 6 to 8 p.m. I pulled up articles about infant sleep patterns. Then I played my own recordings from our white noise machine. Hear that crying that supposedly spelled coordinates? Now listen to the background. Stan's TV blasted through the wall, explosions and gunfire. Funny how the suspicious crying only happens during Stan's die-hard marathons. I played another clip. This session that spelled danger, that's when Karen was recording her podcast about the Zodiac killer at full volume. My baby wasn't sending messages. She was trying to sleep through your conspiracy theories. Dorothy took my phone, scrolling through months of data. Fed at 11 p.m., cried at 2 a.m., fed at 2 a.m., cried at 5 a.m. Perfect 3-hour intervals. She looked at Stan's Morse code translations. Back at my data, back at Stan. So this baby is smart enough to know Morse code but still can't hold her own head up? Someone snorted, then another giggle. Within seconds, the entire room was howling. Stan turned red. This is serious. National security. Stan, Dorothy said, wiping tears from laughing. The baby's favorite toy is her own foot. I don't think she's recruiting for sleeper cells. She turned to me. Motion to dismiss this complaint for being the dumbest thing I've heard in 40 years of running this HOA. Meeting adjourned. As everyone filed out, Karen muttered something about sheeple. The next week, Stan installed soundproofing. Leslie still cries every 3 hours, but apparently, her transmissions can no longer penetrate Stan's defenses. Last night, I found a note on my door. We're watching. I left my own note. Great. Free babysitting. She likes the bouncy chair and needs burping after every 2 ounces. Haven't heard from them since. Dorothy stopped by yesterday with cookies and said, in 40 years, that's the first time anyone's accused a baby of espionage. What about regular spying? Oh, that was the Hendersons in '98, but their kid was 3 and actually did spy on everyone through the fence. Welcome to suburbia.